I had just got home from work. I've just had 3 days of audits, which is very exhausting and very tiring, and it's mind games. And then I think I just hit a baby bird down the road. My God! So I just wanted to cry. So I did what you would do and go to your garden, escape, and regroup. And while I was here, I realized, speaking of scapes, that the scapes on my garlic are ready to harvest some of them. I harvest them throughout, depending on how many you have, but as they get to the stage you want, which is, for me, very early. And the reason is I use them for culinary purposes, like other than pesto. And as they curl or grow bigger, they get woodier, very woody, inedible actually, and the flavor is not the flavor you're looking for as they get larger. So this is pretty much, this one right here is pretty much, it's almost a little too much, gone too far, but I'm going to gather these, and they can store in your fridge in a glass for a very long time. I think I've had them in there for weeks, and keep using them. Now again, if you forget and you're on vacation and they've gone curly-whirly, don't worry about it. Just cut off the ends. It's like asparagus, where you know the bottom part, if you don't snap it off far enough, it's woody, fibrous, and you have to spit it out. It's completely inedible. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut. You want to cut it down. Most people actually recommend that you pull and pop them, but I'm not very good at that. And that's so that they get every bit out, because the most important reason for pulling your scapes is to, at this point, put the energy into the bulbs down below. They say, I think it's about 3 weeks from this stage, early ones, that they're ready to go. Now I go by leaves, and I go from top up, though they say to go top down. I hear whales. What you're trying to do, if you go from top down, it's very sensible. I count that way too. That's the layers of skin covering your garlic, and you must retain those for storage. Hardneck gets a bad rap. A lot of people say it doesn't store as well, but I find they store forever. I've tested them and stored them for as long as a year and a half, more. And they're still, when you cut them open, tight. You can't open them, you can't peel them, they're sticky, they're juicy and pungent, very aromatic, so I have no problem with the hardneck storing, but you must get them before they've gone too far. And the ones that store the longest also are the smallest heads, I find. That's not scientific, by the way, that's just me. They go for the big ones first, and the smaller. They never sprout, they last forever. So I'm going to go ahead and gather just the ones that I think are ready, and I'll show you the harvest after I get them. So I hope I've got the camera right. So you want to cut them down as far as you can, or if you're better than me, pull and pop them. You pull them very slowly is what they say, but it just never works for me. So there we go. As I say, just maybe a little too big for me, but it'll be eaten. So here's the first harvest. I will go out through the upcoming days to pick as they grow on. And I was reminded when I cut through them how you know actually how tender they are, because your scissors just kind of go zoom through them, and it's rather than a chop, which means they're a little more woody. So these are just perfect for cooking. You can put them in your legume dishes, your pasta dishes, your rice dishes, stews. Oh my goodness. If you want a really elegant stew, cut these fairly long. Leave them so that you see the scape. Get your very young onions from the garden, your new potatoes, very small, from the garden, etc., etc. Either if you're a meat eater, then put your meat in, but if you're vegetarian, then put your beans, whatnot. Oh, beautiful on a plate. They look really, really pretty. So I'm very excited. It is scape time here.